Welcome back, everyone, to Feed the Kids. Hey, guess what? I'm still here because you guys paid lots and lots of money for me to stay here and run another game. So, 3 in a row. Why not? We are. Sorry, I can't get over this mod pack. We're going to be running Sonic 3 Air. We're going to be doing the liquidy boy himself, Chaos. Beat the game Glitchless. And coming back on commentary is the one, the only RPG.
Hello again, everybody.
Hey, Colin. Because unfortunately I broke my cursed mod pack for this, which we were going to play just for funsies. Instead, we're using the also very cursed Nico voice enhancement pack made by the wonderful, the lovely, the only Nico Hart. I believe this is the first time I've used this in a marathon run, so yeah, basically Nico has replaced not just the entirety of all the sound effects with his own voice, but also all of the music with his own voice. It is as cursed as you think it is. Yeah, look forward to this one, everyone.
Checkpoint.
So, I need to delete this because we're doing it glitchless. RPG, are you ready?
Ready when you are.
Fantastic. Let's get on with it then. Chaos, beat the game in 3, 2, 1, go.
You know what's really nice, actually, about you now doing this run after the previous two is that we can talk about and actually see in action all of the really nice quality of life changes that we alluded to during the Sonic 3 run. I'm sure you did in the Sonic & Knuckles run as well. Such as the 16:9, the widescreen. These aren't, shockingly, the as-released sound effects and music for Sonic 3 Knuckles. This is a mod. The game has mod support. It's lovely. It features a massive amount of quality of life improvements. So Sonic can peel out, which we'll see I think maybe once or twice in the run. We've got his drop dash from Mania. Tails, for example, is able to flight cancel. There's just lots and lots of really, really nice little tweaks. What we're going to see, though, is something a bit special here. Chaos, as a character, is able to swap between Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, based on whatever you feel like. What this means is he's able to use Tails' flight to take Tails' route. He's able to break through walls that Knuckles can break through, that Sonic normally couldn't. That was the Knuckles boss here, so that means we're now going to take Chaos through Knuckles Act 2, Angel Island, which is substantially quicker.
Very much substantially quicker, yeah.
Yeah, but it's really interesting in that we get to do this, with Tails' flight, with the Flame Shield dash, so that means that we can do it faster than Knuckles would be able to normally as well.
When someone competent's running it, anyway.
Indeed. What's really nice about this run in particular is it's very skilled at the technical level. Because not only do you need to know the layout for the level and how to beat it with one character, you need to know about all three characters and which one is best to use at any given time. You'll often see throughout the run HUD swap between two of the characters in particular quite frequently. Tails and Sonic get the most use out of the run. But there are times where you'll see him swap between all three in rapid succession, just where it might be beneficial.
Also, you notice Silver Sonic.
Yeah, this canonically, this is sort of in the deep Sonic lore, set to be sort of done after the events of Sonic 3 Knuckles. Similar to how Knuckles' actual story is set after where you'd fight with Egg Robo. This is set to be done so even after that. So the villain for Chaos to face off against is Silver Sonic. It is possible to set Chaos. He has sort of 3 different modes. You can either have him play through the regular Sonic levels, you can have him play through the Knuckles levels, or you can play him in his own unique story, where he gets sort of a mix of both, and that has a really, really nice and interesting change towards the end of the run as well. Just taking the Sonic route here through Hydro 1, nothing really to, probably not really very different at all from the Sonic 3 when you did before this.
Splash.
Can't grab some cheeky hits here. Unfortunately, not super this time, so we can't just cheese him.
Sadly.
Lots of splashing going on, though.
We do like splashing. Pastime.
Splash. Splash.
So yeah, as RPG alluded to, being Chaos means we can transform into Sonic, Knuckles, or Tails at will. We assume their abilities, and we also assume their hitbox height and everything else. I don't want to exit, I want to restart from last checkpoint. Let's skip the cutscene, there we go. So yeah, there's a lot of benefit to doing it, but as RPG also said, what it means is that it's not just about knowing the level layouts, it's about knowing which character is the best character to use at any given point, and I'm already proving that wrong by not using Knuckles here. I promise I know what I'm doing.
What it usually boils down to is, if you need to go up somewhere very quickly, or you've got sort of some cheeky platforming to skip, you'll be Tails. Most of the rest of the time you'll be Sonic, so that you can use the drop dash to sort of keep momentum and speed through sections, or just to make use of the insta-shield. Even though Tails flights, like we're going to see here, to skip a massive chunk of Hydra 2, and Knuckles glide, are really useful for skipping sections, being Sonic is usually the status quo.
I've also just noticed the timer didn't start. Fantastic.
Ah, nice.
So another game we can blame Ben for.
You're using the auto splitter, aren't you?
Yeah, the auto splitter should have worked. Whoops.
That's interesting, but oh well.
Fine, I'm sure someone behind the scenes is keeping track of things. For all intents and purposes, we'll just assume it's a world record run at the end. It's all good. It's all good. We'll go nuts at the end.
That's probably why it's, yeah, it seems like it's world record pace at the moment. I can't see anything
can
sort of
sneak over
prove otherwise.
There we go.
Again, nicely done.
Know your cycles.
One thing I will say quite quickly, because we've not actually touched on this yet, in terms of how you swap between the characters, there are two control methods. There's the really complicated one and the good one that Huds is using, where if you jump and press A, you'll insta-shield and become Sonic. If you jump and press B, you will insta-shield and become Tails. You can just ram into him, Huds. Just fly into him. Trust me.
Trust you.
Yeah, seriously.
I forgot about that. Sorry.
Chaos has one hitbox for Tails. You jump and press B to fly, or you jump and press C to glide. This does mean, though, that once you jump and press a button, you are committed to whatever character it is that you've picked. And it is when you press the button in midair. So if you, for example, jump really high, turn into Tails, and then flight cancel, you can't press A or C on the way down to then turn into Knuckles or Sonic. So there is a degree of planning that goes into the run, which makes it genuinely adds a lot more difficulty than perhaps people realise. Ooh, nice and smooth up into the Tails route.
Make sure we avoid the big ring because this is a regular run and we don't want it.
Yep. This is part of what makes this run so entertaining to watch and to perform. That just being able to swap between all the characters puts on a really, really good show, and it's a lot of fun running through the levels and seeing how you can break them and optimize them best for doing all three characters at once. It's a really, really fun run. A little bit of token Nux action there. Unfortunately, we don't see a whole lot of Nux in the run because when you spin dash as Nux, for whatever reason, it's a little bit slower than if you do it as Tails or Sonic. And the other really, really big thing that Nux would bring to the run would be being able to do quick climb. But unfortunately, because we're using the different buttons to dictate which character we are, we can't quick climb either, so it becomes quicker to just use Tails for flight.
Right, into Marble Garden 2 now. So yeah, because we have the benefit of all three characters, it makes certain sections that we saw earlier on in the Sonic 3 run much faster, much easier.
Yeah, there is a nice cheeky route you can take. Usually it's Tails exclusive. It'll be about halfway through the level, and it skips a fairly big chunk. Ooh, nice glide, or flight bounce. Gonna hop over here this time and go up instead of down, and then fly above this spike ball, and that skips around 15-20 seconds a level.
Yep.
Nicely done.
Checkpoint.
You're gonna see me slow down in a second, just here. I'm gonna take the damage anyway, it doesn't matter. We just want to avoid flipping through those spikes and glitching, which can happen if you've got too much speed.
Yeah, it's very easily done in that particular section.
Right, see if we can get an instant shield hit. Hey, nice.
Ooh, clean. Interestingly, it is possible for Chaos to have just gone up that section that we meant to pass there and take the Knuckles boss, but it's not. Unfortunately, it's not quicker. Depending on which boss you beat for each level as well, can sort of affect which act you end up in. So we won't see it terribly often, I don't think, but it is possible to sort of beat the wrong boss, in inverted commas. So beat a Knuckles boss as Sonic or a Sonic boss as Knuckles. And then menu to go to a more preferable Act 1 of the following zone. We'll see. We should see this in Ice Cap, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. Ooh, clean.
So we're going to use Sonic's Insta-Shield here to try and get 7 early hits on this boss. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we're going to get a few for extra, just for funsies.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to hit him a few extra times just to make a statement.
And oh look, we're Tails, because we are Tails. We're all the characters, so we just assume Tails is forming this boss.
It makes sense. I mean, otherwise, what would we do? We would just be a puddle on the ground. It is worth mentioning that Chaos's sort of base form has the same jump height and can break walls the same as the other characters, but he runs substantially slower. So there's pretty much never a reason to be as base Chaos unless you're deliberately doing it for some reason.
And because we're Tails, we'll just fly over the bumpers there. Much easier. Don't need to worry about those.
Nico really has done this zone justice, hasn't he, with the OST?
It's, yeah, it's Claims, but MP3.
Yeah, it really is. Yet somehow it's still better than the actual music we got in the game as released.
I do like Nico's sound for what will be Uwu Ball later, because he just sounds very surprised. Oh!
Again, another boss. Well, I see him for the second time and I'm still not allowed to say his name out loud.
No, you're not.
Which is a shame.
You can say his real name, just not his given name.
Don't know what his real name is.
I can't remember either. I learned it for the Sonic 3 tournament. I can't remember.
Isn't it Extendobot or something like that?
No, it's a really weird name. Like Screwbot or something.
Yes.
Anyway, that's our Act 1 done. So into Act 2 we go. I'm going to straight away transform into Sonic. And we're going to take
really
the
nice. What's really nice about how'd you go the wrong way?
What?
You go the Knuckles route.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for reminding me.
I was about to launch in and say, the really nice thing about Carnival Night 2 is because we can break walls, we can just take the really short Knuckles route and not go through the long, slow, laborious Sonic path.
I remember where I'm going, it's all good. Yes, because we are Knuckles, we can take Knuckles' route. But it's not my fault, I've already had to play these levels as a different character, it gets confusing after a while.
No, absolutely. I predominantly don't play the vanilla levels in Air anymore. So it's genuinely like catching me off guard a little bit through the stuff we're going through.
There we go. So yeah, because we can assume Knuckles, we can take Knuckles' route in Chaos's story, and because of that, we finish the level in 46 or so seconds, which is awesome.
Instead of 2 minutes, which is lovely.
And we don't have to fight the boss. Also excellent.
Ice Cap 1 has quite a bit of trickery in it as well, which is really nice.
Oh god, now my brain's going, have you forgotten how to do Ice Cap 1 properly, Huds?
Let's go through all the Nux walls and you're good.
Oh yeah, of course. Thank you for reminding me. I occasionally need these prompts. There you go, that works.
I really like the way that you sort of bounced back up onto that wall in the falling animation. That was perfect. That was peak Sonic right there.
Great, wasn't it? Right, so we're going to go through here.
Yep, through the Nux specific route.
Yeah.
The skips are good. I want to say that saves like 15-20 seconds. It is substantially faster.
It is a lot faster. Taking Nux route. Just in general. Grab the ring.
Yeah.
Safety.
What's really nice about the run is it's kind of the vanilla Sonic. It's basically the Sonic run, but with a bit of extra height, except where there's a Knuckles exclusive route, and then it's almost always advantageous to take those instead.
Yeah.
So it genuinely adds a nice little bit of extra spice to the run as well.
Up this way, please. Thank you, Chaos.
Yep. And now we're going to go to the Knuckles boss as opposed to the Sonic one, because that way we don't have to wind our way up all those platforms.
Yep. Saves us a bit of time with the platforming. The boss is also lowered down, which makes it easier for Knuckles to hit, but we don't care about that because we can just beat Tails and hit him in the sky anyway.
Yep.
So with that boss done, we're then going to be restarting from last checkpoint as soon as we get into Act 2, which will take us back into Sonic's route, because Sonic's route is faster than Knuckles' route. Keep it up.
Substantially. I will say as well, just as a quick reminder, remember when you get to the Ice Cap 2 boss, that you can just fly into him.
Thank you. You know, I've never tried that.
Oh, shiny!
One of the things, well, we're going to be taking bottom route, because with Tails, in theory, it should be relatively safe. Which, of course, is famous last words in the marathon run.
Yep, absolutely.
We'll see how we get
It
on.
is nice how quick this level is.
Oh.
And what I find really interesting is it's one of the shortest levels, and it's also one of the... Oh! You absolutely spoke too soon there with the relatively safest Tails.
I mean, it was bound to happen, wasn't it?
Absolutely. But I mean, at least this way, we might get to hear the point where the music loops.
You know what I'll do? I'll take the route I know that's safe. I'll take Sonic's route.
That's possibly a good idea, and I imagine it's only a couple of seconds slower. Realistically.
It literally saves, I think, like 3 seconds going the other way. Oh, thanks,
Nice
Subpixel.
Subpixel.
I think you just love it when Subpixels come out to play. Ice Cap 2, why you troll me so hard?
I did wonder how many times you were going to try that before you just decided, you know what, I'm going to be Tails and just not bother.
Yeah. Tails is... When Tails transforms to Tails, I think it's the ultimate expression of, I can't be bothered to do this bit.
Yeah, like, honestly, what makes playing as Chaos and doing runs as Chaos so much more palatable is, when things go wrong and you fall off your route, you can just turn into Tails and be like, no thank you, I'm going this way.
Yep. Literally that.
Checkpoint!
Right, lightning shield straps to get through those. Lovely. Right, go on then. I'll trust you on this.
Okay, and then just hold right, I promise.
I need to do this in a run. I've honestly never tried that in a run.
I don't know why, but that's Chaos's Tails hitbox is just a tiny bit wonky in that it's too powerful.
The problem is now Sota will know about this, which means now Sota will patch this.
Checkpoint!
Huh?
You never know.
You never know.
Splash.
Right,
never
into
know.
launch base we go.
Yeah. Launch Base 1 is a pretty interesting level because although you are primarily Sonic, you'll be going through the Tails route in a second here when you go up through this elevator. Tails route is a bit quicker because it skips having to go through one of the big indoor warehousey sections. And being able to just do peel outs and just do drop dashes across it really saves a lot of time. It takes Sonic around about 40 seconds, I think, to get to this particular section, and then the Nux Glide there skips having to use a particular spring as well. Falling down this slope, we're going to do a jump in a second to skip up onto a platform, and this is a section that we needed to be super for in the Sonic 3 run, but being Tails, it doesn't matter too much, so we're just going to jump up and fly here.
Game, please. Thank you.
I genuinely love Launch Base 1 of Chaos.
It's a really fun one. I mean, I prefer Tails' route anyway. Tails' route is just so much nicer. Thank you, Subpixels.
You're welcome.
Really trying to steal the show today.
Yeah, they really are. They've been really mean to you so far this run.
I don't think I think it's because the Subpixels know I've not had enough Subpixels in these 3 Sonic runs.
Yeah, so far. So they're like, well, we better get on screen now. Now's the time, lads. That was a nice little bounce off that ceiling there to gain momentum.
And we're going up. Not in.
Yeah.
We do Knuckles boss.
Yep, and as I said, for Knuckles it would be quicker to fast fly him, but because he can't, it's actually quicker to just fly. Tails flight and Knuckles climb, if you're just holding up, ascend at the same pace. But if you jump and then immediately fly, you get an initial burst of speed that makes it quicker than climbing.
Also, this boss is substantially easier when you have the insta-shield.
Absolutely, yeah. And because we got to do Knuckles Launch Base 1, we actually go into Knuckles Launch Base 2 as well, and we can't restart out of this. We are stuck on Knuckles Launch Base 2, which is good because it's a very, very good act.
Right, grab some
Launch Base is my favourite zone in all of Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
It's a great zone, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a really satisfying zone, especially in the Glitchless run, which is a shame because the Glitch run skips all of it. I think what's quite nice about Knuckles Launch Base 2 in particular as well is it's got quite a lot of room for nuance. It's a very technical level. It's very demanding on the platforming. There are a lot of obstacles. It gives you a good opportunity to swap between all of the characters. It's a perfect level for showcasing what Chaos is capable of.
Yeah.
Splash.
Couldn't put it better myself.
Splash, 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 splash. Splash.
That was a lot of splashing right there.
We do be splashing.
Ooh, that was smooth movement. Nice insta-shield.
Tails to get up here, nice and quick. Insta shield that so we don't take any damage.
Don't get subpixeled. Nice. Or again. Smooth. And that basically puts us right at the boss. This is the very... We would have normally taken that cup up there and that would have taken us to the Sonic boss. Unfortunately, Knuckles doesn't get to do that. We have to go to the Knuckles version of the boss instead. So we don't get the cutscene with Knuckles, and we also skip the cannon boss. We just have to do the laser tower and big arms. But we get the Nux AI version of both bosses, which is pretty cool. I believe that Nux version of this one just is quicker for the cannon. For big arms, it changes his attack patterns ever so slightly.
Really nice as well. I got the perfect thing. You can't get all hits in one go with Chaos on this, but you can get. I think it does take 8 or 9 hits for that boss. I swear it's 9.
Yeah, it's 9.
Yeah, so you can get 8 of the hits if you time your jump and your insta shield correctly, and then get the 9th as he comes back down. Also, because it's Knuckles, we get 4 swoops from either side, so 2 from each side, and then he's going to go up to the top.
Yeah, and this means that in theory, with really good insta-shields, it's actually possible to one-cycle him here before he flies off again, but it is very difficult.
Nice.
Making it look easy.
Beautiful. I'll take that any day. And use Tails to grab the capsule. And that's the first half done.
Now it's time for the slightly longer second half.
Checkpoint.
Although there is a really, really good bit of quality of life coming up in Launch Base. Not Launch Base, Lava Reef when we get there, we'll talk about in a bit. Mushroom Hill is pretty standard. You start in the Knuckles route. We're then going to fly all the way up and basically take the optimal Knuckles route.
Didn't quite make it.
Oh, not quite. Pudz is not opting to super bounce off of that flame shield because it can be very finicky. Although Sota has ported over the 3 characters in, and you can swap between them, and they play really, really well. The physics on them don't always work 100% as you'd expect. It's very accurate for the most part, but one of the things that struggles a little bit is super bouncing off monitors as Knuckles. It can be very, very finicky to get it right. Beautifully done there on that Badnik. Gonna opt to go down to the bottom route instead. Skip the big ring. I think that's probably a good idea. The thing I actually kind of like about Mushroom Hill is that you can basically just go whatever way you want in it and it's fine.
There's very little variance in all of the routes in Mushroom Hill. Pretty much any route you take works, as long as you just go right.
Yeah, once you go right, you jump over springs and gaps, and you do extra jumps in loops to build up speed. Pretty much anything works.
So one of the things I will say is obviously the previous 2 games we were playing on emulator, Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles, and now this one we're playing as a native PC game, although still from the original Sonic 3 and Knuckles ROM. And one of the things that perhaps people may not always appreciate is things like differences in input lag and differences in the way that the game handles your inputs make a big difference in terms of the run. It's why you may occasionally look at this and go, ooh, that was a bit of an odd mistake, Huds. It's very difficult to switch between the 2 on the fly. As you know, it's hard to kind of explain why that would be the case, but for any speedrunner who's tried to switch between like Genesis emulation and then native PC Sonic, it's a pretty tricky thing to do, and you know, it can sometimes catch you out a little bit.
Yeah, and even when the difference is only like a handful of frames, it sounds like that shouldn't make a difference, but it really does. And while we were talking about that, you've completely just absolutely annihilated all of Mushroom Hill 2. It's really nice that, like, Mushroom Hill 1, although we said that pretty much any route you take is fine, there is an optimal route, and it is tricky to stay on it. with Mushroom Hill 2, it's basically holds right the stage. There's very little to it, and it's an absolute delight after Mushroom Hill 1.
Oh, stuck in there.
Yeah, the Sonic's drop dash behaves a little bit weird in these sections with where the screen is moving. That if you do it against the very left edge, you just don't go anywhere, which is kind of a shame. But I mean, 123 for Mushroom Hill 2 is a very respectable time.
Yeah, I'll take that. It's not too bad. I tried to do the Knuckles strat, but again, it doesn't quite work the exact same way. The timings aren't quite the same, which can throw you off a little bit if you haven't done a few practices. And obviously, we've just gone straight from one into the other, so...
Yeah, it's tricky. And now we get to the wonderful, wonderful Crush Death Simulator zone.
Not quite as bad in Sonic 3 Air, though. Your Carryot's done a lot of good work around making it, I suppose, not suck.
Yeah, it is a very tolerable zone in Sonic 3 Air, and that's mostly down to all of the crushes that just randomly slam on you and kill you. They'll only do that now if you're directly under them. Usually you'll just take damage and get pushed to the side, which is nice. And being able to skip the Room of Doom is a really nice change here as well for Chaos, because it's just not fun, that room. So just being able to fly directly up it is really, really good. Are you going to be taking mid-route in a second? I'm assuming so.
Of course.
Again, obviously, we can just turn into Knuckles, and that will more or less guarantee that we can hop into it. Beautifully done.
Oh, missed that one. Okay, we'll do backup. We'll try this. I don't know if the Super Glide will work. We'll give it a go, see if it does. So, it helps if you hit the box HUDs.
Well, I mean, we can't really gauge whether it works or not if we miss, but I'm going to believe.
Okay, screw it. I'm just flying.
Of course. I was literally saying, oh no, he's going to have to go all the way around now. This is why Chaos is such a good run. Screw up and miss your route. Doesn't matter. Just be Tails.
Dear. So one of the things you guys may be wondering is, how am I switching between all the characters? And this also comes into play. So for me, my normal kind of action button that does all my jumps and everything else is A. I always use A for it. Whoops. However, the actual characters are tied to each button, so when I jump and then try to perform their special ability, so for Sonic insta-shielding by pressing the button again, for Tails flying or for Knuckles gliding, that's when the character transforms. So A is on Sonic, B is on Tails, and C is on Knuckles. So it's kind of odd, it's a very weird sensation for me to have gone from doing Sonic and Knuckles glitchless, where I'm pressing A all the time for Knuckles to do his, abilities, and here I can only use C to perform actions as Knuckles, or only use B for Tails, or only use A for Sonic. So that can occasionally throw a runner off, and it just adds to the complexity and difficulty of this particular run, I think.
Yeah, it does take a little bit of getting used to, absolutely, but it is, personally I would say it's also a lot more intuitive than perhaps it sounds. You get used to it quite quickly. What I tend to find that I do with this is, if I know I'm going to turn into Tails, I jump with the B button first. If I know I'm going to be Sonic, I jump with A. So even if I'm just doing a regular jump, I'll use the button that's appropriate for the character I'm either going to be or already am.
See, I do the complete opposite. My first jump is always A, and then I'll press the button I want for the character I want.
I guess that's the beauty of the mod, in that you've got flexibility to play him however you like.
Exactly.
It's literally just finding what works for you.
I think we should shout out at this point Sota. So Sota Nuck is the creator of this mod for Sonic 3 Air. Created many other mods as well. The Mighty mod that we use has recently done a Metal Sonic mod, and various others, but also created Sonic 3D in 2D as well, a full fan game. Sonic 3D in 2D, which brings basically Sonic 3D Blast into a 2D style Sonic game, which has mixed reviews from speedrunners.
It is a very difficult game.
Why did I do that?
I'm not too sure. I mean, I guess perhaps Spider Steve.
Spider Steve is much faster here.
Yeah, big shout outs to Sota. He's really done the Lord's work with this mod. This one is genuinely phenomenal.
Yeah. Oh, you... Oh, I got stuck on it as well. I mean, you kind of got to have a death in flying battery. Oh.
Yeah, you might as well.
I'm going to stop talking now.
For the crowd.
I just want to make sure they get their money's worth, you know?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That's what it is.
Yeah, definitely. To be fair though, those two deaths there, it's like if you die in that particular section, it is so easy, like you've just seen, to just die instantly after, because you've got no rings, so you forget about the badnik.
Oh, hello, who's this here?
New challenger approaches.
Oh. Now I should point out, by law, officially, that is not Metal Sonic, it's Mecha Sonic. This is Mecha Sonic, the first version, and the Mecha Sonic we see later on in Sonic 3 Knuckles that you saw in the previous run is also Mecha Sonic, just the next version of him.
So he's like Mecha Mark II.
Yeah. But for all intents and purposes, everyone calls this Metal Sonic, so you know.
Yeah, they do. But Metal Sonic is the CD one.
Oh no.
It's almost like they maybe could have named them different things to avoid confusion.
That'd been nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Also, rather unfortunately, we're not going to get any space here because it's fixed. You know. Yeah.
While we're waiting for the cutscene, what's your favourite Robot Sonic?
My favourite Robot Sonic, Tails Doll.
Ooh. A very cursed choice.
Thought so too.
Yeah.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, it's getting a bit too close to comfort.
So obviously we are Nux. We are flagged as Nux for a lot of bosses. So we get the Knuckle version of this boss right here, which moves substantially quicker across the battlefield, and only spins twice for every time that he's vulnerable, and continues to shoot the fire. It makes the boss genuinely quite difficult to do cleanly and quickly.
You can do the nut strat, so the exact same strat that we saw on the previous run on that boss, but because it's widescreen and because he actually moves further, being completely honest with you, I can't remember the exact positioning for it, and I really don't want to take another death at that point, so I decided to play safe.
It's a really, really hard strat to do in there.
Welcome back to Sando 1, where this is basically Tails the level, because Tails' Sando 1 is consistently faster than any of the other characters.
Sometimes it just be like that.
Yeah. So we basically just take Tails' route throughout all this. We do occasionally switch to Sonic, just like there, just because this bit's a little bit faster with Sonic.
Yeah, it's nice that you have the flexibility to just turn into a different character, just to get like even if it's a marginal speed boost. It just helps the run flow a little bit more and speed things up a bit.
Exactly. I'm going to play this one safe here. I'm going to jump. Yeah, just in case. We're going up here. And then right-hand side. We're going to take some damage here. That's fine. Completely expected and normal.
I really thought you were going to squeeze through that then. Nice cloth jump. I really thought you were going to squeeze through without the damage.
Oh, I just missed that.
Almost.
Nearly made the sub-minute cycle. And also...
Very good Sando 1 though.
Nice little fast forward here, where we become liquid again. So, RPG, what I do is, do you want to just explain the changes to this boss in Sonic 3 Air?
Yeah, so in Sonic and Knuckles, he's really, really slow. In Sonic 3 Air, when you hit him, he'll skid along the floor. And I believe if he's in the air and falls further before he hits the ground, he skids more. So if you damage boost, and then hit him at the peak of his jump in the air, it's possible to push him into the sand with only 2 hits.
Just like that.
Which is really nice because it speeds up the auto-scroller.
Great! It's no longer an auto-scroller, it's actually beneficial to play it.
Indeed, and you can do it wrong, which is also... you know, a nice bit of risk-reward, in that you use him at the wrong time, he goes backwards, and it's really bad when he goes backwards now.
Shout out to Vargix.
Indeed. Starting Sando 2, the ghosts are already out, which is true for Knuckles as well, even though they start in the same place. This isn't really anything to worry about too much, it just means that if somehow you took a billion years to get to the Switch, you might have a bit of a problem at the beginning, but it doesn't change anything from here on out, realistically.
No. So, for the most part, we're going to use Tails for this level, because only having one button available for Knuckles means I can't quick climb like you saw in the Sonic and Knuckles run. And Tails Flight is far more consistent. Apart from that bounce then. Thank you, game. There we go.
Yeah, it just speeds up the
Checkpoint.
rising sand section significantly. And being able to get that initial speed boost every time you take off is really, really handy. It's a shame that we can't quick climb.
It is a shame, but to be honest, even if you could quick climb, I still think Tails is faster.
I would probably suspect so, just because of the initial speed burst, like right off the bat.
Splash.
But again, there we go. So another little quality of life updates. Those little switches there are much faster in Sonic 3 Air when we push them, so we don't have to wait quite as long for them.
There's quite a few just like nice little tweaks. Oh, that was close. There's quite a lot of just nice little tweaks where things that are just slow are sped up for you, just to make life a little bit easier.
I'm gonna try this, see if it works. Hey, nice.
Clean.
That is... I haven't actually been able to time it yet, but I'm fairly certain the moment you hit the underside of the sand, I think it's like 1 or 2 frames that you have to then immediately jump to get him to go up into the sand rather than fall back down.
Yeah, it's really, really tricky.
Again, that first try is pretty awesome. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, there's a really, really smooth sando too.
Oh, made the 215. Woo! Yeah, I'll take that any day. Nice.
Ooh, that was
perfect
nice. I'm gonna have to learn that.
226. I think that might be one of the best Sando 2s I've ever done with Chaos.
That was brilliant, yeah.
Menu. There we go.
The
Right,
Lava Reef. Yeah, we then wind up in Knuckles Lava Reef at the very beginning. Knuckles Lava Reef is honestly much more difficult than Sonic's. There are a lot of obstacles to be aware of, but we might be able to use the Insta-Shield in a few places to sort of cheese our way through some of them and speed things up a little bit. For the most part, it's going to be very standard Knuckles Lava Reef 1 though. The actual route itself won't change too much.
It's just, Knuckles' Lava Reef 1 is one of those levels where you can either find a really good flow or you just can't. And no matter how much I've practiced this level and tried, I just cannot find a good flow with it.
Yeah, it can rapidly become damage boost the level. However, the fire shield here in particular saves a lot of time. If you've ever seen the Sonic and Tails Glitchless for Sonic 3A, you're probably quite familiar with seeing the fire shield used here. But it's a lot quicker than Knuckles spin dashing through it. And obviously Sonic's extra jump height as well means that we don't need to climb any sections either. We do need to lose the fire shield now though, because it's beneficial to have the insta-shield for the boss.
Checkpoint.
Ooh, very nice.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, just counting because otherwise I inevitably make a mistake.
Yeah. The deep question is, whose Lava Reef are you going to do for Act 2?
Oh, that is a question. One we could have put to incentive. Obviously going to do nothing. And hope and pray I don't lose the fire shield.
Yeah, although I suppose being able to fly in it is going to come in pretty handy regardless.
So a little restart from last checkpoint there at the beginning of Act 2 so that we basically skip the first bit of the level because it actually puts you much further forward in the level if you have to restart it or get sent back to the beginning, so yeah.
Yeah, it's around 5 or 6 seconds of running that you just avoid. We're going to nip on through Knuckles Act 2, but being Sonic and being able to use the Flame Dash obviously saves a lot of time, and for any of the sections where we would need to climb, we can just use Tails to ascend a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
It is really interesting seeing how I think this level is one of those levels that really shows off what Chaos is capable of, and what a versatile character it can be to sort of make use of.
Yeah.
Smooth.
Alright, come down here. Don't lose the fire shield here. Beautiful.
Yeah, very nice. we have one of the best parts of the run coming up as well. In that, because because Chaos is based on Tails, by default he should have to do the awful Lava Reef 2 boss. But because he's got Knuckles' ability to break walls, we don't need to. We can just skip that completely. I mean, fortunately, Knuckles isn't there to stop us, but even if he was, we could hop down onto the lower route, and we can go straight to Hidden Palace and not do the really slow auto-scroller boss.
Second chance at this. Second chance. Come on, Hudge. You can do it. No! That's fine.
Fortunately, yeah, there's no juice time here, because we've got a bit of deep Sonic lore to go through here, as we now need to beat up Silver Sonic in place of Knuckles. Functionally, he's identical. He's just a model, a palette swap, realistically, of Knuckles. But there's no echidna violence in this run.
Love that sound effect. There we go, and then we just fast forward all the way through this. Oh look, it's the Lucky Boy. How can it be Knuckles when we are Knuckles? Knuckles here too.
I got electrocuted again, poor guy.
I swear, why does he always get electrocuted? How is he not just made of pure electric now?
I don't know. Maybe that should be his super form.
Good. So here we go into Sky Sanctuary Act 1. We're going to spin dash immediately and then fast forward this cutscene.
It's a much shorter cutscene because the Death Egg didn't rise because, you know, canonically that already happened, so we don't need to worry about that. This does, however, rapidly become Tails.level because we're going to use Tails to just vertically ascend through the whole thing, skip all the mini-bosses and get straight to the end. It does make, honestly, I mean, it's like this in DA Garden as well. It's a really nice chill breather near the end of the run. Because it's very much a case of just remember where you go up, what things you need to land on, and it's a nice just sort of 1 minute bit of chill out, listen to some music. We've got this nice soothing soundtrack to listen to here as we just quickly ascend towards the end. And with that, that's pretty much the entire level done.
There we go. And onto the laser. Oh, sudden minute. Nice. And then, what's this? Sky Sanctuary Act 2! What?
Instead of going to the Mecha Sonic fight, it takes us to Knuckles' version of Sky Sanctuary instead for the final boss.
Oh, here we go. So, a little bit different. Oh, look who's back. Back again.
It's Mecha Mark 1. He killed Silver Sonic! I can't believe this robot violence.
Every time. So yeah, he's got this kind of dash forward, but his hitbox is incredibly small when he does that. That's the first bit, and then we're going on to the second part. It's a little bit different from what you guys saw earlier, so you're going to see me do a slightly different strat here.
Yeah.
Feel free to explain RPG.
Yeah, so for default Knuckles, you would just stand in the corner and just wait for him to act. Unfortunately, so to swap the AI round for this one, so that you need to be directly under him in order to bait out this attack. If you just stand in the corner, he will just never actually do anything and never become vulnerable. It's genius in how evil it is.
Tell you what, I'll stay here so you can see what happens. Here you go. If I stay here, he'll come and attack me like that.
And he will also hit the corner. Regular Mecha Sonic can't actually hit you if you stay in the corner. He'll swoop down and always miss.
That's going to be the final one.
Yeah, functionally it doesn't change the boss too much, so once you know to stand under him.
And time is on fade out. That would be time, although unfortunately the timer didn't start because auto splitters don't always work, sorry. But that is Sonic 3 Angel Island Revisited, the Chaos Beat the Game Glitchless category. We've got to see the awesome watery boy himself traverse through Angel Island, and Knuckles coming in at the end in the plane to save him after defeating Mecha Sonic Mark 1. RPG, thank you so much for joining me once again on this run, on this incredible bonus run that these wonderful people donated for in order to get into the marathon. Thank you for coming back to commentate on that.
You're more than welcome. It was lovely to come back. Chaos is sort of my main character that I speedrun at the minute, so it was really nice to just sort of chill and talk over a run. He's a really good character.
Yeah, if you want to see more Chaos runs, by the way, and if you want to see a slight variation on Sonic 3 and Knuckles known as DA Garden, which basically is Sonic 3 and Knuckles, but all the levels are completely different, drop RPG a follow, RPG_Hidden Wizard, because it's, like he says, it's his main character that he runs, and he predominantly does DA Garden, so it's Sonic 3, but not quite as you know it. As for me, that is truly this time all from me today on this marathon. As I said, my name is HUD601. It's been a genuine pleasure and an honor to come here and show show you this game basically twice in 3 different ways. Yeah, if you want to come and see more of this, like I say, I speedrun predominantly 2D Sonic games. I am going to be picking up Sonic Unleashed soon as well and do my first 3D game, so come on over to twitch.tv/HUD601, drop me a follow, it'd be lovely to see you there. Again, a huge shout out to everyone who made this possible. Sota Nuck for creating the Chaos mod. Sota, an incredible modder and coder. Also to Eukaryote, who is the developer of Sonic 3 Air, works really closely with us in the speedrunning side to make sure that, you know, everything's working the way it should be, and very awesome on that front. So yeah, other than that, the Sonic Speedrun community, once again, wonderful people, wonderful place. Huge shout out to all of those lovely people as well, and all the people from my community. I've seen you all there in chat, I've seen you all talking. Thank you all so much for being here. But yeah, that's all from me. I'm going to stop talking now. I'm going to hand it back to our lovely host and our next run. So all from me. Bye now.